This is why sound makes such a big difference to your YouTube videos. This is a clip from my previous video with sound design. Now this is basically your brain giving you a little reward, or I guess a high, and then that motivates us to do those actions again. And it turns out that rewarding social interactions, and this is the clip without all of that. Now this is basically your brain giving you a little reward, or I guess a high, and then that motivates us to do those actions again. For years I was like, yeah, I get that adding sound effects will make videos better, but I just didn't bother doing it. And I think that's often what happens with us YouTube creators. We focus too much on getting our content out rather than adding those finishing touches that can make all of the difference to your attention, and those little extra tweaks played a big part in helping our channel do this last week. So in this video, I'm going to show you 3 easy places to use sound design, sound effects, whatever you want to call it, to help you take that leap, which I guarantee you will make your content better. I'm also going to show you what you definitely do not want to do, as well as where to get your sounds from. So let's start with how to use sound design in your YouTube videos. So this is a beginner's guide. Sound design, if I simplify it, is just using sound effects in your videos, and adding a sound effect could be something like this, or something that's a little bit more atmospheric, like this. So there's 3 places I think that you should really consider using sound design to get started: B-roll, transitions, and combining it with text. So let's look at using it with B-roll to start. Now I've shot this demo clip that you can see right now, and we're going to build up the sound in it together to make it tell a story that wouldn't be possible without sound. But first I need to tell you a little secret. You don't need to add sound effects to your videos that are the exact same sound as the thing on screen. This is a lens getting put onto a camera that I used in a previous video, and that's actually the sound of a gun. It's strange, but sometimes using sounds from something else actually sounds more like the thing you're trying to imitate than the sound itself. So it's about what works this, not what's about scientifically accurate. So really this is just a case of thinking about what needs sound adding to it and the sound that will make the visuals stick out and work. So here we've got a coffee machine. So the obvious place to start with there is a steam sound effect. Now you don't want to just use it on the close, because when we cut to the wider shot, there's still steam, you just can't see it. So the sound here has to keep going with the visual in mind to make it feel complete. Think about that, it's not just about what's on screen. Now what we need is a noise to get my attention. Sorry about that last one, I'm just really juvenile. Now I want the noise of some floorboards, and then a door, and then that's kind of about it. Don't worry, I'm going to be telling you how to get those later on in the video. Now let's watch that back. So this, in its most basic form, is simply a case of finding a sound effect that matches what's on screen, and then watching what's happening and timing it in your editing software. Now we're going to keep in a lot of those sounds, and then we're going to add some more, and then some atmos to it to make it feel tense. So after a bit of rummaging, I came up with this sound to build some tension. And as the character gets closer to the mysterious sound, it gets more intense, and then there's the climax and BAM! I could do this all day with all kinds of different sound effects to tell a different story, but hopefully you can see the benefits of doing this. So the next great place for this is using it with transitions. So this is a transition, and your editing software, you will probably have ones that you can use, but I would go so far to say as 90% of the transitions you have should never be used, because they're cheesier than a French restaurant. Transitions are best used when we need to show the passing of time, the change of mood, or a change of direction. And unless you're going for a specific effect, it's best to use these transitions sparingly. Using sound with the movements, a really good way to make your audience wake up and pay more attention. Now similar rules are going to apply here as the B-roll, and of course I've built a demo clip, so let's check it out now without sound. And now with. If you want to show the passing of time or change of scene, simply adding like a whoosh sound to the transition, it's got a little movement to it, is effective. Now you need to make sure you put your whoosh under the transition, and then you need to make sure the speed of the transition matches the sound, because look what happens if it's slightly off. That doesn't work, does it? So I can make the transition faster and then make the sound shorter, and that's kind of more realistic. And then the next example you can try, and this is the easiest by far, is to just use sound with text. So let's have a look at that. The text type-on effect, like this, doesn't really give it its full impact until you add a little typing sound. Make sure you keep it in time with the letters, or you could go for impact text and add a crash, a smash, or even a punch sound to make your point really stand out. And before I show you where to get these, I need a quick fire round of what not to do with sound.
Whatever you do, don't do this with sound.
Yeah, I made a jingle from that. So if you use a whoosh sound for transitions or text, don't keep using the same individual one. You need different versions of that sound. I'll show you what I mean. It's annoying, right? But if I do this, it just works way better, right? Ideally, you don't even want YouTube viewers to register that you've put these sounds in. The next thing you must not do is get the timing wrong. It will totally put your viewers off. The volume of your sound is also really important. Ideally, you need to make sure it doesn't compete with the narrative of your videos and distract. You also shouldn't use them for the sake of it. Whooshes and smashes are fun, but it really kind of suits more playful content. So if you're making serious videos, that might look out of place and might not be the right tone. And remember, this is all about what works for your viewer, not for you. So where do you get these sounds from to use in your YouTube videos? Well, that's a good question. I'm glad you asked. Well, Soundstripe's pretty cool. We use that for the majority of our videos backing track, and they have sound effects too. But if I'm being totally honest, I only upgraded to get sound effects for the last video I made on this channel, and now I've done it, I'm kicking myself that I didn't do it sooner. The free option is this website called freesound.org, where you can use the sound search, select your option, and then make sure you read the terms and conditions for each sound effect so you don't have any legal issues. There's also mixkit.io, which has some pretty good free options, but just be warned, on some of these downloads you may need to put a link in your description to let people know where you got them from. And actually, most good editing software will have a bank of free options you can use, no problem. And then you need to watch this video here to make the B-roll that you're going to use these sounds with.